Welcome to the Wisdom Tribe. If you are here, it is because you have been chosen by God Himself to be part of this tribe, one of the few set apart to receive the blessing within this message. You are not here by chance. You are here by divine calling. Chosen one, this is not just another video. This is a prophetic confirmation straight from heaven to your spirit. You've endured battles you never spoke about. You've been tested in ways most people would have failed, and yet you refuse to compromise. Because of that, you have proven to heaven that you are trustworthy, that you are faithful, and that you are ready for the next season of your divine assignment. Before we go any further, if this word is touching your spirit, type 7 in the comments right now. That number is not just a digit, it is the number of divine completion. It represents that the test you went through is over, the refining fire has done its work, and God is bringing you into a new season of reward and revelation. When you type it, you're declaring in faith, I passed the test. I stayed loyal. I didn't compromise. Chosen one, your obedience was not in vain. Every tear, every moment you could have given in but didn't, was recorded in heaven. Now the crown that belongs to you is being released. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom Tribe. And watch this message all the way to the end, because what's waiting for you on the other side of your endurance is bigger than you ever prayed for. Now let's dive deeper. Chapter 1. The test you didn't expect. Chosen one, hear me clearly. Your greatest exam was never written with ink on paper. It was not scheduled in a classroom or prepared for with study notes. No, your greatest test was hidden inside the daily rhythm of your life. It was disguised in the silence, in the delays, in the betrayals, and in the moments when heaven felt quiet. The hardest test is not the one you see coming. It's the one that sneaks up in the ordinary moments when you least expect it. That was your exam. And without even realizing it, you sat in the classroom of life, with heaven watching closely, grading not your knowledge but your heart. Your test came when you prayed and received no immediate answer. When the clock kept ticking, the days kept passing, and the breakthrough seemed stuck in traffic. Your test came when your heart was heavy, but you still had to smile. When people misunderstood you, but you had to keep moving. When you gave your all, yet received nothing in return. Chosen one, every tear was part of the test. Every delay was part of the exam. Every betrayal was a question on the paper you didn't know you were writing. And God was watching, not to catch you failing, but to see if you would remain faithful. Would you keep believing when nothing made sense? Would you keep praying when you felt ignored? Would you keep walking in purity when temptation whispered in your ear? Would you hold your peace when insults tried to drag you into battles that weren't yours? Would you keep trusting the process when the process felt endless? These were your test questions. And without a study guide, without preparation, without applause, you passed them. You didn't pass because it was easy. You passed because you endured. You passed because you chose integrity when compromise would have been faster. You passed because you forgave when bitterness would have been easier. You passed because you remained loyal to God when walking away seemed justified. Heaven has a record of what you thought no one saw. The prayers you prayed through tears recorded. The nights you stayed up crying but refused to curse God recorded. The moments you could have taken revenge but chose peace recorded. The silent sacrifices you made that no one thanked you for recorded. Chosen one, you didn't just pass the test, you passed it without cheating. You didn't manipulate, you didn't sell your soul, you didn't lower your standards just to get ahead. You waited, you trusted, you endured, and because of that, heaven is about to promote you. Understand this. The heaviest crowns are reserved for the hardest tests. The heaviest mantles are given to those who didn't quit in the wilderness. The greatest assignments are trusted only to those who can be proven faithful when no one is watching. This is why your crown will not be ordinary. This is why your next season will not be small. This is why your elevation will not make sense to people who saw you struggle, because they don't know the tests you quietly passed. Chosen one, heaven has already stamped your paper with approved. You endured the wilderness, you remained faithful in silence, and you proved yourself in the unseen. Now what was hidden will be revealed. What was private will be rewarded publicly, and what was painful will be transformed into power. You passed the test you didn't even know you were taking. And now, the reward is on its way. Chapter 2. When temptation looked easier. Chosen one of the heaviest battles you fought was not when you were in lack, but when you were offered more than you prayed for, but at the wrong cost. Temptation does not always come wearing red horns and a pitchfork. No, the most dangerous temptations are often wrapped in the disguise of opportunity. They look like the answer. They sound like the breakthrough, but hidden underneath is the hook that could derail your entire destiny. The enemy dangled shortcuts in front of you. He whispered, "Why wait for God when you can have this now?" He pushed offers your way that would have elevated you quickly but stripped you of your character. He tempted you with people, with positions, with possessions that could have solved your temporary problems, but would have destroyed your eternal promise. You could have bent your values. You could have watered down your voice. You could have betrayed your purpose just to feel the comfort of fitting in. You could have taken the easier way, the quicker path, the faster road, but you didn't. When others compromised, you stood firm. When others sold their soul for applause, you chose silence over selling out. When others bowed to convenience, you chose the weight of obedience. That's what separates you as chosen. Listen closely. Temptation doesn't just test your weakness, it tests your loyalty. It asks you this question: do you love God enough to wait for His blessing even if a counterfeit shows up first? And chosen one, your answer was yes. You chose faithfulness over shortcuts. There were nights you struggled thinking, why does obedience cost so much? Why does saying no feel like losing? But heaven recorded every single no you whispered in the dark. Every time you walked away, angels celebrated. Every time you shut the door on a counterfeit, you gave God room to open the door to something real. The truth is, the enemy only tempts those who carry treasure. Thieves don't break into empty houses. He tempted you so heavily because he knew the crown you carry. He tried to distract you with false crowns so you would forfeit your real one. But you didn't take the bait. You saw through the illusion. You understood that not all open doors are divine doors and not every gift comes from God. And now, your refusal has built an unshakable foundation. Because you rejected the counterfeit, heaven is preparing to release the authentic. Because you chose patience, the blessing that is coming will not expire, will not collapse, and will not crumble. It will not come with sorrow, with hidden contracts, or with regret. It will come pure, holy, and lasting. Understand this, chosen one. Your discipline became your shield. Every temptation you overcame added another layer of protection around your destiny. Your integrity became your crown, shining brighter because you chose the narrow road. And soon the world will not just see your crown. They will see the glory of the one who gave it to you. This is why the road was hard. This is why temptation was heavy. This is why the shortcuts looked so attractive. Because what is waiting for you on the other side is not small. It is kingdom-sized. It is legacy-sized. It is world-changing. And only someone who cannot be bought, bribed, or broken could carry it. Chosen one, the easy way wasn't made for you. The eternal way is. Chapter 3. The Pain of Doing Right. Chosen one, let's be honest. Doing right has a price tag. Holiness costs something, integrity costs something, obedience costs something, and you've paid that price more times than you can count. You've felt it in your relationships. You lost friends because you wouldn't bend your values. You watched people walk away because you refused to play their games. You stood firm while they mocked, whispered, and laughed behind your back. They thought you were being too much. But what they didn't understand is that your calling would never allow you to be less. You felt it in your silence. There were moments when defending yourself would have been easy, but you chose restraint. You knew that even though the truth would vindicate you, God's timing would prove you better than your words ever could. And in that silence, people misunderstood you. They painted false pictures of you. They celebrated your supposed downfall. And yet you endured. You felt it in your loneliness. Nights where the weight of isolation pressed heavy on your chest. Nights where you questioned yourself, whispering, "Is it worth it? Is this sacrifice too much? Am I walking this path alone for nothing?" And still you stayed. You remained steadfast when everything inside you wanted to run. Chosen one, this is the pain of doing right. This is the hidden cost of righteousness that no one preaches about. It's not just about fighting sin, it's about fighting the loneliness, the rejection, the misunderstanding, the ridicule that comes with saying no when everyone else says yes. But hear this. Heaven saw every tear you cried in secret. None of it went unnoticed. The prayers you whispered when your heart was broken, recorded. The times you gave when no one said thank you, remembered. The sacrifices you made when no applause followed, written down in eternity. And this pain, it wasn't wasted, it became proof. Proof that your faith isn't shallow. Proof that your walk isn't fake. Proof that you love God not because of what He gives you, but because of who He is. Understand this, counterfeit faith collapses under pressure, but real faith survives pain. And chosen one, your pain has now become your evidence. Every lonely night was a seed. Every rejection was a deposit into your eternal account. Every loss you suffered for righteousness' sake was a sign that you carry something the world could never give you. Think about it. If doing right was easy, everyone would do it. But few endure the fire because the fire burns. Yet it's the fire that refines, the fire that proves what's genuine, the fire that separates the called from the chosen. You didn't just survive the pain of doing right, you were purified by it. You became stronger, you became clearer, you became untouchable to counterfeits. The very pain that once made you question your path is the same pain that elevated you into maturity, wisdom, and divine authority. And now, heaven is preparing to flip the script. Those who mocked you will witness your rising. Those who misunderstood you will see your vindication. Those who laughed at your sacrifice will watch you reap the harvest of righteousness. Because God is not unjust, He will not forget the labor of love you carried through tears. Chosen one, the pain of doing right was never in vain. It was an investment. And now the return on that investment is about to manifest in ways that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. So stand tall, wipe your tears, lift your head, because the crown of righteousness that was forged in your pain is about to be placed on your life for the world to see. Your pain was proof, your endurance was evidence, and your reward is on the way. Chapter 4. Why Heaven Tests the Chosen. God doesn't test the chosen to break them, punish them, or see them fail. His tests are not designed for destruction, they are designed for revelation. They reveal the strength you never knew you had, the depth of your faith, the resilience of your spirit, and the purpose that runs through your bloodline. Every trial, every challenge, every moment of pain is a divine mirror showing you who you truly are beneath fear, doubt, and worldly distractions. The chosen are tested harder because their calling is greater. Your path carries a weight that many cannot comprehend. The responsibilities laid before you are heavier than most can bear. You are being prepared to operate on a level where human strength alone will never suffice. Every struggle, every delay, every season of waiting is tailor-made by heaven to refine you, sharpen your faith, and purify your heart. You are not being tested merely for your own growth. You are being tested for generations yet unborn. Every victory you secure, every mountain you scale becomes a spiritual inheritance for your children, your grandchildren, and even the generations that will never know your name. Where others faltered and compromised, you stood firm. Where others lost hope or gave in under pressure, you remained steadfast. Your endurance, loyalty, and unwavering faith are not just personal triumphs. They are seeds planted in eternity. Think about it. The nights you spent in prayer when the world seemed silent, the moments you felt abandoned in your trials, the times you were misunderstood or mocked. These were not wasted moments. Heaven allowed every one of them because it knew your victory would be greater than your struggle. Your life is being written in a story of divine purpose, and each chapter is carefully orchestrated to prove that you are not ordinary. The test of the chosen often comes in layers. Sometimes it appears as a storm in your relationships, a sudden loss, a betrayal, or a season of confusion. Other times it is the silence of God that feels unbearable. Yet even in the silence, even in the fire, your faith is being strengthened. Heaven is not asking you to endure for nothing. It is molding you into a vessel that can hold blessings, responsibilities, and revelation beyond what most can even imagine. Your victory is bigger than you. It is bigger than the current moment, the current struggle, or the current season. It carries a generational weight. What you withstand today sets the foundation for your lineage. Your obedience, your perseverance, your refusal to compromise will become a spiritual inheritance that blesses your children and their children. They will walk in the doors you fought to open. They will receive the peace, the wisdom, and the favor that came because you refused to surrender. Understand this, chosen one. The weight you carry, the tears you shed, the prayers you whispered in the dark, all of it has a purpose. Heaven does not waste suffering. Every test is intentional, every challenge is strategic, and every moment of endurance is a preparation for the glory that is coming. You are being refined, strengthened, and elevated so that when your breakthrough comes, it will be undeniable. It will be a testimony not just to your faith, but to God's faithfulness. So when the storms rage, when the trials feel unbearable, and when patience seems impossible, remember this. You are being tested not to be defeated, but to be revealed. Every struggle, every pain, every moment of doubt is a stepping stone toward your divine destiny. You are not passing tests for yourself alone. You are passing them for generations, building a spiritual legacy that will ripple through eternity. Heaven tests the chosen not to destroy, but to reveal the eternal strength, courage, and greatness that resides within you. Chapter 5. Your reward is being released. Chosen one, hear this clearly. God delays nothing without a reason. Every season of waiting, every unanswered prayer, every closed door, and every moment that felt like denial was not rejection. It was divine preparation. Heaven was quietly orchestrating behind the scenes the perfect timing for your blessings. The resources, opportunities, and favor that seemed distant were never lost. They were being held until you were ready to handle them, until your spirit was aligned with your destiny, until your faith had matured enough to carry the fullness of what is coming. And now, that long-awaited time has arrived. Doors are about to open for you without a single knock. Opportunities will present themselves as if the universe itself has bent to your favor. People who once overlooked you will now seek your counsel. Situations that seemed impossible to resolve will suddenly turn in your favor. The heavens are shifting in your favor, and you will witness provision, guidance, and favor flowing toward you in ways that are undeniable and unstoppable. Resources you once thought unattainable will come to you effortlessly. Favor will locate you without chasing. Elevation is coming, not slowly, not partially, but fully, with the force and precision that only God can orchestrate. You've proven to heaven that you can be trusted with little, and now you are being entrusted with much. What was once small is about to multiply beyond imagination. What was once delayed will arrive suddenly, abundantly, and with supernatural timing. Every test you endured, every season of silence, every night you spent praying when the world seemed still, every moment you resisted compromise, all of it has prepared you to receive what you could never have handled before. Your patience, discipline, and obedience are now the keys that unlock the floodgates of heaven. Expect your reward to come in ways you never anticipated. The favor that was hidden will suddenly become visible. Doors that were shut will swing open. People who doubted you will now be aligned to assist you. Situations that seemed hopeless will reverse, and miracles that defy logic will become your reality. Your reward is not only material, it is spiritual, emotional, and prophetic. It is a divine confirmation that heaven sees your faithfulness and is ready to honor it with abundance that exceeds your understanding. This is your season of release, the moment you have been waiting for, the chapter you have prayed for, the breakthrough you have endured for. Every seed you planted in faith, every act of integrity, every tear shed in silence, every time you refused to settle or compromise, They are all coming back to you multiplied and overflowing. Heaven is not releasing these blessings to test you further. It is releasing them to reward your faith, to elevate your spirit, and to position you exactly where you belong. Prepare for sudden promotion. Prepare for doors that open with ease. Prepare for connections that feel divinely orchestrated. Prepare for favor that cannot be earned, only received. Prepare for abundance that flows naturally to you, not because you worked harder than anyone else, but because heaven recognizes your faithfulness, discipline, and patience. The delay was never denial. The waiting was never punishment. Every moment was calibration, refining you, teaching you, and aligning you with the fullness of your destiny. So rise, chosen one, and step into your reward with confidence. Open your heart, stretch out your hands, and prepare to receive what has been reserved for you since before the foundation of the world. Your obedience has unlocked doors. Your faith has paved the path. Your discipline has proven that you are worthy. Heaven is now releasing what belongs to you, and nothing in this world, no opposition, no limitation, no human circumstance can stop what God has ordained. Chapter 6. Your test became your testimony. Chosen one, everything you endured was never meant to be in vain. Every tear you shed, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt and fear, none of it was wasted. Your trials were not simply challenges to test your patience or resilience. They were the raw material for your testimony. They were the experiences that heaven used to shape a story so powerful, so compelling, and so transformative that it will inspire generations. Everything you went through wasn't just for you, it was for the testimony that would one day shine from your life. People are going to see your rise and marvel at it. They will wonder how you moved through storms, overcame setbacks, and walked through fire without compromising your integrity. They will see your light shining brightly and realize that obedience, faithfulness, and trust in God truly work. They will witness that a life committed to heaven, even when it seems long, painful, or lonely, carries a reward that is both eternal and visible. The very trials that once brought you to your knees will now become the foundation of your triumph. What once made you feel defeated, what once threatened to break your spirit, will now stand as the pillars of your testimony. The pain that tried to bury you has now crowned you. The struggles that once seemed unbearable have now become the stepping stones to your destiny. Your life is proof that endurance produces excellence, obedience produces reward, and faith produces fruit that multiplies. Your testimony is more than just a story. It is a light for others still in the valley of testing. There are countless souls who are still struggling in their own seasons of trial, still wondering if their prayers will be answered, still questioning if their suffering has meaning. Your life will speak to them even when you are silent. Your victory will reassure them, your faith will encourage them, and your obedience will show them that God sees every tear and honors every faithful act. Understand this. What you endured has eternal value. Your story will ripple across time, touching lives you cannot yet imagine. People will testify that they saw God's hand in your life. They will marvel at the doors that opened, the favor that came, and the abundance that flowed because you refused to compromise, because you stayed true to your calling, and because you trusted God even when the outcome was unseen. Your testimony is not just proof of personal victory, it is proof of heaven's faithfulness, and it will inspire faith in others. The test that once felt unbearable will become your legacy. The obstacles that seemed insurmountable will become lessons for others to learn from. Your obedience and your perseverance have made you a living testament that God rewards the faithful. Every tear has been transformed into triumph, every setback into a setup for glory, and every moment of silence into a powerful witness. Your life will shine as a beacon of hope for those who are still in the fire. They will see your rise and understand that their season of testing is not in vain, that patience is not pointless, and that faithfulness always leads to victory. You are living proof that heaven never forgets, that God never forsakes, and that the faithful are never overlooked. Your test has become your testimony, your struggle has become your song of triumph, and your obedience has become the light that guides others out of darkness. Chapter 7. Walk into your new season with confidence. Chosen one, this is the moment you have been waiting for your entire life. Every tear, every trial, every season of waiting and wondering if it would ever end has led you to this very point. You no longer need to doubt yourself. You no longer need to question whether it was worth it. Every struggle has been purposeful. Every delay has been intentional, and every season of testing has prepared you for this divine elevation. Heaven is announcing you. God Himself is preparing to showcase you not as someone who barely survived, but as His faithful servant who endured every trial without compromise. Walk boldly into this new season, chosen one. Walk with confidence, knowing that the same God who tested you, strengthened you, and disciplined you in silence is now ready to bless you openly. Carry yourself with authority because you are stepping into a chapter of your life where recognition, favor, and divine promotion are no longer hidden. They are visible. The world will notice the anointing upon your life. Doors will open effortlessly. Opportunities will seek you. People who doubted or overlooked you will suddenly find themselves aligned with your purpose. You are no longer in the testing phase. You are in the elevation phase. The weight that once seemed unbearable has been lifted. The chains of delay have been broken. Every trial, every tear, every moment of uncertainty has prepared you to carry your blessings with wisdom, dignity, and strength. This is your season to shine. This is your time to step into the fullness of everything heaven has promised you. Walk with your head high, your heart steadfast, and your faith unwavering. This is your divine confirmation. You passed God's hardest test without compromising. You remained faithful when others faltered. You obeyed when the world questioned you. You persevered when giving up seemed easier. And because of that, your reward is now undeniable. Every blessing, every opportunity, every favor that has been held in reserve for you is being released. Heaven is declaring to the world that your obedience and faithfulness have not gone unnoticed. Stay faithful, chosen one. Stay humble, even as your elevation becomes visible. Stay ready, because the fullness of your reward is arriving, and it will come in ways that exceed anything you have imagined. Your life will become a living testimony of God's faithfulness. People will marvel at your rise, your favor, and the grace that has carried you to this point. Your story will inspire those who are still in their testing season, reminding them that perseverance and obedience always lead to victory. Walk into this new season with confidence. Step into your authority. Speak boldly over your life. Know that the same God who watched over you in silence is now about to bless you in the open. Your promotion is not just for you, it is for the generations that will follow. Your faithfulness has paved the way for a legacy that cannot be erased, a testimony that cannot be silenced, and a victory that cannot be taken away. The world may be watching, but heaven is orchestrating every detail. Opportunities, favor, recognition, and abundance will flow toward you effortlessly, because God Himself is declaring that your season has arrived. This is your time. This is your moment. Walk into it with boldness, with certainty, and with unwavering confidence, knowing that you have passed the hardest tests, overcome the greatest trials, and proven yourself faithful to the one who never fails.